let's try and get a faster top speed and a faster up to your top speed. And knots flow through. Tube just comes down to the side, up.
Ooh,
Air filter.
What a day. Might as well give it a...
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Sparky's Funhouse. I'm your host, Amanda. We're going to be taking a look at this torque converter here today, also known as a CVT. And we're going to be taking a look at the driven pulley. These three holes, what happens when we change our spring to one of the different hole positions, as well as different colored springs. We have here the yellow spring versus the green spring versus the stock red spring that comes on this 30 series torque converter. We're going to be taking a quick look at a 20 series torque converter, some of the differences with the 40 series as well, and then going to be going into a little bit, just a little smidgen about engagement time with the drive pulley itself. So let's try and get a faster top speed and a faster up to your top speed by changing that driven pulley. Boom! Checking out the setup we're going to be working with today. I'll show you the 20 series over here is going to be running in a clockwise manner versus the 30 series we're going to primarily be working with is running in a counterclockwise manner. Something to think about when we're discussing these three hole positions. The full setup here on the mini bike, we're going to have an open cover. Because I'm going to have an open cover, I'm not going to be running any shoelaces on my shoes. Going to be keeping my foot away from that. Something that's going to be a bit dangerous, but I'll do it for you. We have our tachometer here. We're going to show where the pulley opens up to by having this camera placement pointed down at the pulleys while we engage, and checking out our top speed as well in case we get an increase in top speed as we move that spring position. Let's get to it. Okay, now I've actually already just finished filming a couple days ago every spring color in every single position, and because I had interesting results, I am just going to reshoot them really quick and I'm going to show you the highlights. So to start, I've got the red spring, which comes stock with a lot of torque converters, and it is going to be in the middle position, which is stock for a lot of torque converters. Let's go ahead and check out where that belt comes up to here. First marker is that first sign, second marker is the sign up ahead. Here we go. First marker, we're coming up. 3760 RPM at 34 miles per hour. 37, 39 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour, 41 miles per hour, 43 miles per hour, 44 miles per hour. I'm already getting 46 miles per hour just coming out here. I'm going to reset that guide. Alright, I've got my yellow spring and I'm going to swap that red out. And just to keep on track with the highlights here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the spring in the forward position. So really quick, how do I actually swap that spring out? Ring clip pliers, and what I'm going to suggest is to get the larger ones. The smaller ones, you may find yourself struggling. A channel lock pliers, or good old Mr. Ugga Dugga. And that's just to get this nylock or this nylon locking nut off of there. So you'll be taking that off, taking the washer off. Taking the washer off, taking our ring clip pliers, being careful because this is spring loaded. There it goes. And swapping out that spring. When we swap out the spring, we'll want to make sure we put it in the proper location, the proper hole, and snap it in by twisting it. There are a couple places where it's going to be held in place. So I put it in, give it a twist, push it in snug, and then I'm going to be putting it back into the hole. And I want to make sure that when I push it in, that it's going to stay on the proper side of these pads right here. So I'll be pushing it in and holding it back, and then taking the ring clip pliers, putting it back in place, putting our washer back in place, putting our nut on, and tightening it down. So here we have the yellow spring, and we have the yellow spring in the forward position. So springs right here. Let's go take a look. All right, here we go. Yellow spring. Coming up on our first sign here. We're going to be at 34 at 3,750. We got 38 miles per hour, 3,750 RPM, 3,760 RPM. So we're at 43 miles per hour, 3,800 RPM, 44 miles per hour, 3,870, 45, 44, 45. All right, so we're hitting, let's see, 45 tops. Nice crosswind. See the difference between the red and the yellow springs there? There really doesn't seem to be too much. And what I've noticed between them, after having shot all different 9 combinations of springs, is there's one that makes a difference. And that's going to be the green spring that I'm going to show you here in the rear position. Now, the way that you put the spring on there actually does make a difference. So I have positioned these in multiple different ways. With the spring on there, I'm just going to switch to the green spring here. And if it's loose or just in the middle when you put it on, that is different from when you pull back on this plate and seat it properly. I did film this in probably about 12 different ways because I wanted to try it out and see if there was any big difference. But out of all of the scenarios, the green spring in the rear position, back here, the rear hole, is the only one that really made a noticeable difference outside of lower speed. The yellow spring in the forward position, green spring is in place and it is in the rear hole. Alright, we're back here on the starting spot. A bit of a cheater preview. I already got up to 47 miles per hour on the way out here. So here we go. This is a green spring, rear position. Coming up on our first marker, we're at 37 at 3,700 RPM. Just hit 37 as we were passing it. About halfway there, 3,700 RPM, 40 miles per hour, already at 43. So 3,700, 3,800 RPM, 45 miles per hour, 46 miles per hour, and we're coming up 47 miles per hour. We get anything else? 48. All right. Let's go take a look at the drive pulley now versus the driven pulley. Let's do a little bit of a summary on that driven pulley, just so I don't have scattered, because I've been filming this for a couple of days, and because I've been filming this for a couple of days, I don't remember everything that I filmed so far. So we're going to go take a look at the engagement for the drive pulley, and a little bit of wrap up on that blah 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 blah. Look at that, 48 miles per hour. Don't you want to go 48 miles per hour on a mini bike? So after spending a couple of days and testing every single combination out there, what I'm going to say is the pattern is about like this. The yellow spring in the forwardmost position was the slowest. The yellow spring in the middle position was about the same as the red in the forward position, and so on all the way down here to the green. Green in the rear position being the fastest of them all. However, if you're looking at, do I get the green spring? Well, the red in the rear position is almost the same as the green in the middle position. There's not much difference between here and here. Maybe a mile per hour, depending on if you have the header, you have the stage 1 kit, or you don't. I think there was a difference when I was testing with the throttle stop screw pushed in. So if I didn't have a stage 1 kit, if I had a little bit less power, I think maybe I had a little bit less go juice, if you would. Well, what's going to happen is that yellow spring down here was drastically reducing my top speed in comparison to the green spring. All right, let's take a quick look at the drive pulley. Now, we were focusing on the driven pulley and adjustments to try and get a bigger top speed. But let's take a look really quick at the drive pulley and what adjustments you can make for the drive pulley. So, with the drive pulley, here's your close-up here. You can change the springs and you can change the weights to give you a different engagement level. I'm being attacked by zombies right now. I am. They're all over the place over here. So if you want your torque converter to engage at a lower RPM, what you'd be doing is putting on softer springs. If you want tighter springs, it's going to engage at a higher RPM because it's going to take more centrifugal force in order to actually push those weights out and connect to your torque converter's drive pulley. So that's what we've got for you. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you have a great day.